is entered from Maghrib, continuing to the next day, Jummah. Understanding the holiness that we have just entered into. Understanding how special and how valuable this night is. That the Holy Prophet ﷺ saying, the one who recites salawats to me, if you recite 80 times the salawat to Shareef, the sins of 80 years in your life, it will be erased. Increase your salawats on me, he's saying, alayhi salatu wassalam, because it will be presented to me on this holy day. And so, on the holy nights, that's what we are doing. Remembering Allah and increasing our salawats to the Holy Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. And listening and trying to understand and trying to put into our lives what it is that our Shaykh has left us. What is it that he's teaching from the treasures of the Holy Prophet ﷺ? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us, to wake us up in these days. Leave. To wake us up. Just leave the kid. Let him do. To not make us to become the slaves to our ego. To catch our ego and to put it under our feet. Because it comes with hundreds and thousands of tricks and traps. In ways, so many times that we don't understand, that we don't see. Which is why you need someone to show to you. We need someone to show to us. And our Shaykh is showing that to us. Now that we have the knowledge, what are you going to do? To go back to the foolishness that we came from? O believers, believe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the Holy Quran, O believers, believe. And another ayat saying, are you going to turn back to disbelieve after you have believed? Those ayats, they are for us. They're not for those who have passed, they are for us. Everyone is reading Quran. MashaAllah, very good. But are you understanding it? Are you putting it in your life? O you who believe, believe. What are we believing? What are you believing? Every day you're asking, what am I believing in today? Don't say I pray 5 times a day, I believe. What are you believing in? Are we believing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking at us right now? Are we believing that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that our Shaykh is looking at us? Or are we going to be like those ones that the Holy Quran is saying? Are you going to turn back to disbelief after you believe? What is that disbelief? Do we know what that disbelief is? Before we came into belief, for us now as murids, what is the belief? Our belief was when we took the hand of our Shaykh and we submit to him and we give bayat to him. And he started to show us what belief is. He started to share his belief with us. And his belief was given to him by the Sultan al-Awliya, by the Holy Prophet ﷺ. He is sharing us that. No longer we are being left on our own to try to find out what belief is. Now we have the fresh spring that comes out, that continuously gives us refreshment for our spirits. But what was that disbelief that we came from? Everyone, I ask you now, you will remember. We remember. I remember. Where we creep out from, what kind of hellhole we came from, what kind of dirtiness and what kind of mess we were in. It doesn't matter now, you just come into Islam or you're born into Islam. Because in these days, Islam, it is a lost treasure. Islam that you inherit, but you don't understand the value and you lose it. There are so many, they did not inherit it. And like Holy Prophet ﷺ saying, the Ajam, even if faith is in the stars, they're going to jump to try to get it. So, we jumped and we got it. We have it. What is it that we have to lose to get this belief? What is it that we have to put away, to put aside, in order to hold this belief strongly, which in these days it is like a burning coal that is going to burn your hands. It is like a fire, but you cannot drop it. You have to give it to another hand. You have to pass it from hand to hand. You cannot drop that faith. Are we thinking? Or are we like those ones that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, we turn back to disbelief after we've believed? There are some who are like that. Either through ghaflat, or they're letting their ego to overtake them, or they're thinking they're fooling people. Definitely. Because if it is a problem, and all of us, we've gone through problems. All of us, we have our own history. We have our own past. That if we are sincerely regretful of this, and we say we want to stay in belief, not in disbelief, we're going to come forward and say to those ones who can help us, this is my problem. I'm trying. I'm failing. And I need help. And I'm asking you for help. Are we fooling? Fooling ourselves and fooling others. You can fool others, but you can never fool yourself. Thinking, well, no one is knowing, so I can pretend. Is Allah not watching? Is His Prophet not watching? Our Shaykh is not watching? Are we not believing? If we believe, that is enough for us to smack ourselves up and to wake up every now and again and not to just continue in that mess. To ask for help and to step on our ego, not to continue. Because we have been blessed. But this rahmat can easily be taken away from us and to be given to others who will come later, who are more deserving. Shareef Effendi had said, years ago he had said, and this was something that happened to him when he was driving and some murids, they were following him. Take this for yourself, say I am that murid. We were traveling from one state and coming back to the Dergahi. Murids, they were traveling behind. Finally, when we are just 5 minutes away from the Dergahi, the murid cannot be found. He got lost. And Shareef Effendi got really upset when the murid caught up. Like I said before this, we are living in a Dergahi. The work that we're doing, it is going to show what is inside. It is going to show our intentions. It's going to show our belief. the work that we are doing, it is not disconnected from our belief. It can be something simple, like fixing a light or sweeping the floor. And Shareef Effendi said, yes, there will be those who have always been with me, right to the end, but right at the end, they drop off. They make a detour. They give up at the end. But they have been with Shareef Effendi all this time. We are witnessing that in our days. We witnessed that when Shareef Effendi passed 3 years ago. We're witnessing that. Alhamdulillah, it's not happening a lot, but even one is enough. We're seeing that, and we must take that as a lesson to us. But how are you going to keep following? How are we going to keep following our Shaykh if we're not understanding what our belief is? If we are not looking at what kind of jahiliyyah, what kind of disbelief we come from? How are we going to keep following if we're taking that jahiliyyah practices and putting it in our lives while we're following our Shaykh? And hiding it and pretending. How long are we going to continue like this? What good is that going to give? Either you're going to follow, or you say, this is not for me, and you're going to follow the world, follow your nafs. You are free to do that. Everyone is free to do that. But you will not be freed from your responsibility and from the consequence that comes from that. You will never be free. Don't think it is that easy. Like Shareef Effendi is saying, you go into a McDonald's and you get a cup of coffee and try walking out without paying. They're going to call the cops on you. They're going to arrest you for one lousy cup of coffee. What about every ni'mat that Allah has given to us? What about the ni'mat, the blessings that His Prophet, that our Shaykh has given to us, that still we are enjoying from it? These are still the good days. None of us here were tested. We're not tested. We're not tested with nothing. Whatever that is given to us, we know it's a huge blessing. May we not be tested, inshallah. But in those days that are going to come, it will be harder than this. And if we are not believing and holding that belief tightly, definitely at the end of the road you're going to drop off. Hold it tightly. These words are for me first and for those who want to listen. You don't want to listen as you like. There is no compulsion in religion. There is no forcing. But you are going to be questioned for everything that you have done. If you think you have the right answers, that you are macho enough to continue with that kind of thinking and that kind of lifestyle, go ahead. But those around me, we're going on a different direction than that. May Allah forgive me and bless all of you. May Allah wake us up, not for us to fall back into those Jahiliyyah days. May we step on our ego and our arrogance and our stubbornness to understand good that is coming to us and to put it in our lives. Wa min Allahu tawfiq, for the sake of the Holy Prophet, Sultan al-Fatiha.